Next up in our lecture on psychology of eating is the cognitive model. Again, from chapter 3 of the chapter 3 food choice chapter from the Psychology of Eating by Jane Ogden, published in 2001. The cognitive model predicts a person's food choices by measuring their attitudes and beliefs about foods. This model is a lot more theoretical than the one that we just covered to kick off our look at food choice, the developmental model. In the cognitive model, there are two theories that we'll be looking at, and they relate to each other. First is the theory of reasoned action, and second is the theory of planned behavior. These theories are used to explain a lot of different human behaviors. And of course, for this, we're going to apply it to food choices. So in the theory of reasoned action, the person who's going to make the food choice has certain beliefs about their own behavior, and they also have an evaluation of those beliefs. But they also know that other people have beliefs and attitudes about food choices, and the person who's making the food choice is motivated to comply with the others around them. So thinking about all of this is kind of occurring at a rapid pace in your brain. You're just processing the information around you, and that is causing you to have an intended behavior. So that's like when you're going out to eat and everyone's looking at a menu, you kind of know what you want. You might ask other people what they're getting. So, and you might have an intention of what you want to choose. That leads to choosing your actual behavior. Now, the gap in between what you intend to do and what you actually do is a hot topic in research. There aren't any really clear answers quite yet as to why we do what we not always intend to set out doing. So I'm sure you can think of many examples in which that happens in your own life. To put this into some more realistic context, I have an example that breaks down the theory of reasoned action. So over vacation, I went out to eat with my fiance and his family, and we were in an area where seafood is readily available, especially shellfish. So my fiance believes that eating shellfish is too much work, and his evaluation of his belief is that it's logical to not eat seafood, especially shellfish, because it's too much work to get to that piece of food. Now, he also knows that everybody else out at dinner will most likely order shellfish and ask him why he isn't eating it. So what's his intention? It's to not eat shellfish, but to also not have to deal with questions from the group. So what did he end up doing? He did not order shellfish, and while he placed his order, explained to the group that it's not to his liking. So his resultant behavior was a combination of those beliefs and evaluations. The next model, the theory of planned behavior, starts with the theory of reasonable action, but has an additional component. So again, when you're making food choices, you're thinking about your beliefs, those of other people, but then this model also accounts for behavioral control. So these are factors that are either caused by you, by others, or by your surroundings. All of that impacts what you intend to do. That can also impact your final behavior, those factors. When we talked about people all sitting down at a table and you're asking each other what you order, you might have intended to order something, but then you learn that somebody else at the table is going to order it. So at the last minute, you change your behavior. It doesn't match your intention, you get something different, just so you're not getting the same thing as somebody else at the table. If we go back to our shellfish example, the same sort of flow of thinking applies. So my fiance still doesn't like shellfish. It's too much work to get to the food. He also knows that everybody else likes shellfish. But in this instance, I ordered the lobster ravioli. And when it comes out, it smells and looks really good. So, and he didn't order shellfish. So his intention was to not eat shellfish. Yet, when it came out, and it was not in its shell and also appealing to eat, he ate the lobster. So you can see that sometimes those external factors will ultimately influence the end behavior.